This is a Kelly's Angels production. Hi everyone, I'm Mark Mulholland, and welcome to The Upbeat, a podcast about perseverance and hope from Kelly's Angels. This is a show for anyone who knows what it's like to face loss and adversity. It's all about getting through grief and rediscovering joy in life. Thank you for listening.
The Upbeat is an all-volunteer and in-kind effort. The financial support from our generous podcast underwriters directly benefits families served by Kelly's Angels. This episode of The Upbeat is sponsored by the Boebert Family Fund, News Channel 13, and Gastroenterology Associates of Northern New York.
On this episode of The Upbeat, I'm talking with Sara Cadoret of Middle Grove, New York. Sarah's a wife, mother, teacher's aide, and a breast cancer survivor. She's pretty amazing. Not only for what she's persevered through, but for how she's chosen to pay it forward and help others. I'm going to let Sarah's children, Ryder, who is 10, and Nellie, who is 8, tee up this story by sharing a little about their mom and her battle with breast cancer. Were you guys worried about Mom when she was diagnosed with cancer?
Yeah, we were younger, so we thought, she was gonna die, because, when we heard people that had cancer, most of them died, so we were really upset about it.
How about you, Nell?
I was nervous because she was going to be in the hospital most of the time.
Yeah.
Were you surprised? Were you guys both surprised that she did so well?
Yes.
Yes.
Why do you suppose she did so well?
Because she believed in God and thought that she would always be okay because she has God and us.
And you. Did you guys help take care of Mom a little bit when she was sick?
Nell did all, she drained her drains and stuff. And I was there, if she got upset about, if something worse happened, I was there and, told her everything would be fine. It's life.
You're great.
You are great.
Stop making me cry.
What do you love most about your mom?
That she's just really caring, nice.
Love you.
How about you now? What do you love most?
She's caring, she's brave, she's thoughtful.
Funny,
and she does a lot of things for people.
Great job, guys. Thanks for spending some time with us. So, Sarah, that was pretty special to hear. You have a couple of amazing kids, which is a reflection of you and your husband, Jay. You guys are great people. Let's start from the beginning of this journey you've been on. Tell me about your diagnosis, Sarah. When was that, and how'd you find out about it?
I was diagnosed January 15th, 2019, and I received a simple phone call.
So you'd been having some pain, or?
Yeah, so in 2018, I was having some pain in my left breast. I go to the gynecologist for a breast exam. They're like, it's just a cyst. So that was October. And then in January, I go back because that pain is still there. And they're like, cancer doesn't hurt, but it was like this sharp shooting pain. It just did not feel right.
Yeah.
So finally they're like, okay, yeah, it's gotten bigger. Scheduled another mammogram. We did a biopsy and it was cancer.
You got a phone call?
Yeah, at school.
So you're at work.
I'm at work.
You get a phone call from a nurse.
A nurse.
And he says, how'd that go?
Sarah, I forget her name, but she was like, I just wanted to call and let you know, unfortunately, I'm sorry. And right when I heard that sorry, it was like...
Your heart sinks.
Yeah. And then I fell to the bathroom floor, and then I just cried. She gave me a moment to cry, but I felt nothing. It was just completely empty.
They say you don't remember a word after someone says it's cancer. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't remember that the rest of the phone call. Maybe the goodbye, I stood up, brushed myself off, and I was like, I gotta go back to work. And that was probably the best thing because it kept me busy.
And you go back to the class.
Yep.
Clearly shaken.
Yeah.
Tell anyone?
At the moment, no. I think the teacher that I was with probably knew my eyes were red and whatnot, but the kids were a great distraction. Like, there was nothing I could do. I had cancer. I couldn't rip it out of my body at the time, so I just had to go on.
How helpful were distractions through your journey? How helpful were those sorts of things? To be able to go into a classroom, smiling faces, maybe not some smiling faces, but to be able to focus on them rather than what's inside you.
Yeah, it's amazing because when I entered the school, I was Miss Cadoret. The kids didn't know that I had cancer. So right there, it was allowed me to just focus on them and my job instead of, Sarah going to the doctor's office, doing that, it was amazing.
So what was the course of treatment? What was the recommended course of treatment? You get the phone call, you talk it over with your husband, Jay, and your 2 children. Then what?
So we go in. Unfortunately, because of the size, I could not do a lumpectomy, which stinks because at the time, if that first doctor's appointment, if they would have just did a biopsy, but it led me to a double mastectomy, chemo, radiation. I got the whole kit and caboodle.
How did that go? Was it difficult?
Yeah, I went through 5 surgeries. I had some complications. It was only supposed to be 2, but I had 5.
So while you were in treatment, did you get sick? Were you nauseous?
I didn't. So when I started chemo, everybody was like, "You're going to be so skinny." And I was like, "Sweet, this is going to be a good diet." The drugs, the nausea drugs are so good that I actually gained weight.
Was there food you enjoyed eating more?
Oh gosh, everything. We had a food train. People were bringing us food. I mean, the carbs, everybody says sugar's bad for cancer, but I ate it anyways. It is what it is.
Life's too short.
Yeah.
So now fast forward, your health is good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm in remission. My hair's growing back.
And what do you have to do? How often are the appointments now? And
So I go every month to see my oncologist. I get a Lupron shot in my stomach that puts me in menopause, keeps me in menopause because my cancer was positive for estrogen.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm in menopause at the age of 42. So I go there every month. And then every 3 months, I see the doctor. I get my blood drawn to check my markers. And then every 3 months, again, I go to my breast specialist.
I'm so glad to hear you're doing well, and I will always be here to support you. We're going to take a quick break to thank our underwriters, and then we'll be back to hear the remarkable things Sarah has done to pay forward all the love and support she's received during her battle with cancer. Stay with us.
Support for The Upbeat comes from the Boebert Family Fund, which supports charitable organizations that efficiently use the resources they have to make a disproportionate impact on the world around them. WNYT News Channel 13, the NBC-affiliated TV news station providing breaking news, sports, and weather to viewers in New York's capital region, as well as Berkshire County, Massachusetts, and Bennington, Vermont. And Gastroenterology Associates of Northern New York, where board-certified, fellowship-trained doctors provide state-of-the-art diagnostic and therapeutic gastroenterology, endoscopy, and colonoscopy services for patients in Warren, Washington, and Saratoga counties. Learn more at giassociatespc.com. If your business would like to be an underwriter and help Kelly's Angels, email us at theupbeatpod@gmail.com. Now back to my dad's interview with breast cancer survivor Sara Cadoret.
I want to talk about you and paying it forward because, yes, Kelly's Angels helped you with a trip. You guys had a long planned trip to Universal. We helped you with that a little. But you come back from that and you say, no, I want to help Kelly's Angels.
Yeah.
So you have an end of treatment party and you make Kelly's Angels the beneficiary. Tell me where you came up with that idea and why you wanted to do it.
It was Jay's idea. My husband, he's like, let's have a party. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So it was at the Saratoga Winery, which our friends own, Rich and Tara. They were so grateful that they donated this space. And we sold tickets and to our friends just to come celebrate the journey that not just myself, but everybody went through. It wasn't just me. And then, we just...
Decided to make it a
Kelly's
fundraiser.
Angels,
which was terrific, and we'll always be grateful for that. But you weren't done.
No.
So the pandemic strikes,
Yeah.
and you start making masks for people. Out of the goodness of your heart, you make masks for people and say, no, I don't want any money. But if you're inclined, if you'd like to make a donation to Kelly's Angels.
Yeah. I couldn't... There's so many people that just needed the masks. I couldn't be like, okay, $15 for a mask. Like, I couldn't make a profit out of something that somebody needed. Like, that's not in my heart. So, made masks for my friends, and then, Lindsay, who I met through Kelly's Angels, reached out and was like, hey, I have a proposition for you. And I didn't know it was going to be that many masks. And
she works for DeCrescenti Distributors, a large
Yeah.
distributing company here in upstate New York, right? And so you made how many masks for them?
I think I made 200 or 300. I have chemo brain still. That is still my excuse of not remembering stuff. So 200 or 300, and that was a process. But I got it done, and I haven't made a mask since.
No, 200 or 300 masks you made out of the goodness of your heart, again, for this distributing company, not accepting any money.
Correct.
They say, okay, well, we'd like to make a donation to the charity of your choice, and you tell them.
Kelly's Angels.
Kelly's Angels.
Yeah.
Which was phenomenal. So you continue to pay it forward. How is it? How is it that you're able to keep such a sunny disposition when you were faced with a horrible diagnosis?
Yeah.
Have a loving husband, 2 beautiful children. How was it? How were you able to stay so upbeat?
It is literally, it's so simple. It's just my faith. My faith had carried me through this whole entire journey. I went to church as a little girl. I've had some falling outs. I went back to church, but my sister and I were doing a Bible study, and I was in that Bible study during cancer, and it literally carried me.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
What haven't we talked about that you'd like to talk about as it relates to your journey? You talked about all the people who've helped you and guided you. And were you surprised by that, by the way? I know we were. I speak from experience that even people we didn't know were helpful to us as we were going through a battle. Did you find that as well?
Yeah, I did. It's those people, and we're so grateful for those people that just come out of the woodwork, that are just so kind and supportive, because I think a lot of them have gone through the similarities that I have. So it's bittersweet. You have cancer, completely sucks, it's horrible, yet you're welcomed into a family like no other.
A fraternity.
I'm going to get emotional.
A fraternity or a sorority you never wanted to be a part of, but you are.
It's so true, yeah.
Power of close friends as you battled this?
Yeah.
Do you have some super supporters?
I'm going to get tired. Yeah, I mean, that were there through the thick and thin, that would take my kids, and it's unbelievable. Like I said,
Always be grateful to them.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to. It wasn't my intention to get you choked up, but it's
okay.
an emotional topic, isn't it?
I mean, going through the process, I didn't really know how much it affected me until going to my survivorship appointment. That's when it all hits you.
Survivorship appointment. What's that?
Yeah. So just going after all your treatments are over. So they sit down and you're like, okay, this is what you went through. And that was the moment of, oh my gosh,
clarity,
I went through a journey. Yeah. They usually, when it's like fight or flight. So I totally was just, I was in fight mode. Yeah, I had my, my boxing gloves up. And then when the dust settled was when it all
the
hit
quiet
me.
time. So you're down, the adrenaline is no longer flowing. I remember that when Kelly was diagnosed, it was not if we beat this, it was always when we beat this. So there was no question that, because you have to have that mindset. While you were going through treatment, even now, I mean, being a young parent isn't easy. A parent of a 10 and 8-year-old.
Yeah.
How do you take time for yourself?
Now that my kids are older, I think it's easier to be like, hey, I'm going to go upstairs for a minute, give me some space. toddlers, I mean, you can't even lock yourself in the bathroom without like those fingers coming underneath. So I think you just have to find those moments of maybe putting your child to bed a little bit earlier at night. So then you have that extra half an hour just to sip a tea or read book or meditate. It's those times. Take advantage, or even waking up a half an hour earlier in the morning to get that time.
Is there anything else at all you want to add, Sarah?
But I would just say, if anybody ever needs anything, like just to reach out. I know sometimes it's so hard to ask for help, but I mean, crap, call me. I will be more than happy to help anybody that's going through this, And if you have to shave your head, do it.
You're a good person, Sara
Makes you
Cadoret.
feel badass when you shave your head. I got a skull tattoo, when would, on my neck, any other time, when could I have a shaved head? Because
You can get away with it, right?
Yeah, but just reach out to help. There's so many, groups and, just.
And people willing to help, right?
Yeah. And it's okay if you have to ask.
It is hard. You're right. It is hard because
It's
we're
so
raised.
hard.
No, take care of yourself. Take care. Look out for yourself. Take care of yourself. And then this happens. You do need help.
Yeah, and it's okay.
It is. Thanks so much for joining us on The Upbeat, and best of luck to you and your family. Now, Sarah mentioned that there are a lot of groups out there who offer help and support. I want to remind families in New York's capital region who are battling a life-threatening condition or dealing with a loss that Kelly's Angels is one of those groups that is here to help you. You can learn more about what we do at kellysangelsinc.org. On the next episode of The Upbeat, I'll sit down with one of golf's greatest, Dottie Pepper, who is also a longtime supporter of Kelly's Angels. We'll talk about perseverance and giving back. It's a conversation that's on par to be one of our best episodes yet, so you'll definitely want to tune in to hear what the winner of 2 major championships and 17 LPGA Tour events has to say. Until next time, I'm Mark Mulholland. Take care and stay on The Upbeat.
Special thanks to Emily Yan, a graphic designer and art director who invested her time and talent to create our podcast logo. Videographer, editor, and Kelly's Angels board member, Lou Graff. Coordinating producer and Kelly's Angels board member, Jenny Sperano. And all the volunteer Kelly's Angels board members who had a hand in making this podcast possible.
And one of those board members is my daughter, McKenna Rose Mulholland, who's been doing a great job as our voiceover talent for this podcast. So thank you, McKenna.
You're welcome, Dad. Can I finish now?
You bet.
Thanks for listening to The Upbeat.